Imagine for a moment that you are in a world where the rules that govern human behavior are not just suggestions, but are etched in stone, both literally and figuratively. This is the world of the Torah, where every command, every law, and every ritual holds profound significance. The passage you've encountered is not just a collection of ancient laws. It is a guidebook for a society trying to navigate the complexities of human morality and social order. Let's delve into the heart of this ancient text and uncover the wisdom it still holds for us today. The passage begins with a command to revere one's parents and to keep the Sabbaths. This is a foundational principle in many religious traditions, emphasizing the importance of family and rest. Revering one's parents is not just about showing respect. It is about recognizing the foundational role they play in shaping who we are. Keeping the Sabbaths, on the other hand, is about acknowledging the need for rest and reflection, a practice that even modern science is beginning to recognize as essential for mental and physical well-being. Abraham ibn Ezra, a renowned medieval Jewish commentator, points out that this section of laws is a paraphrase and elaboration of the Ten Commandments. It is not just a repetition, but a deeper exploration of the moral and ethical principles that underpin the commandments. The focus on prohibited sexual relations that could lead to the expulsion of people from their land is a stark reminder of the consequences of straying from these principles. It is a call to maintain the integrity of the community and to avoid actions that could lead to its downfall. The term Elilim, which refers to idols, is a fascinating linguistic choice. It is not just a simple reference to false gods, but a term that carries a deeper meaning. Derived from al, meaning not, and possibly punning on el, meaning God. It suggests that these idols are not just false, but are non-entities, lacking any true substance or power. This is a powerful critique of the pagan practices of the time, emphasizing the uniqueness and absolute nature of the one true God. The laws surrounding sacrifices are another crucial aspect of this passage. The emphasis on the proper handling of sacrificial meat, not eating it on the third day, and the prohibition against dishonoring one's parents or turning one's daughter into a whore, all point to the interconnectedness of moral, ethical, and religious duties. The holiness of God is not just a theological concept, but is reflected in the way people live their daily lives. The religious and the mundane are not separate spheres, but are deeply intertwined. The agricultural laws, such as leaving the edge of the field unharvested and not picking up the gleanings, provide a practical example of how these principles are applied. In an economy without coined money, these laws serve as a form of social welfare, ensuring that the poor and the marginalized have a means of sustenance. This is a powerful statement about the responsibility of the community to care for its most vulnerable members. The Book of Ruth, where the widowed Ruth goes into the fields to gather grain, is a poignant illustration of the practical impact of these laws. The term sojourner refers to a resident alien, someone who is not a part of the established community, but who still deserves protection and respect. This is a reminder that the principles of justice and compassion extend beyond the bounds of kinship and nationality. It is a call to treat all people with dignity and fairness, regardless of their status or origin. The prohibition against swearing falsely in God's name is another example of the interconnectedness of religious and moral duties. Swearing falsely is not just a matter of personal integrity, but has implications for the reputation of God. It is a reminder that the actions of individuals reflect on the community as a whole, and on the God they profess to follow. The concept of profaning the name of your God adds a layer of moral and theological significance to this command. The command to pay the hired man's wages promptly is a practical application of the principle of justice. It recognizes the vulnerability of the hired man, who may be without reserves and in immediate need of his wages. Holding back his wages is not just a financial matter, but a moral one. It is a call to treat all people with the respect and dignity they deserve. The prohibitions against vilifying the deaf and placing a stumbling block before the blind are powerful examples of the ethical principles that underpin this text. Both actions exploit the weaknesses of others in a way that is morally reprehensible. The long exegetical tradition that sees these cases as figurative instances of moral turpitude highlights the broader application of these principles. Placing a bottle of whiskey in front of a recovering alcoholic, for example, is a modern equivalent of putting a stumbling block before the blind. It is a call to be mindful of the impact our actions have on others, especially those who are vulnerable. The command not to favor the wretched or defer to the rich is a reminder that justice should be blind. The idioms used in the Hebrew text, involving the lifting up or glorifying of the face, emphasize the importance of impartiality. Whether someone is poor or rich, they should be treated with the same respect and given the same consideration. This is a powerful statement about the equality of all people before the law and before God. The sequence of verbs in the command not to go about slandering and not to stand over the blood highlights the progression from active complicity to passive complicity in doing harm. The phrase, "stand over the blood," is a particularly evocative image, suggesting a failure to intervene when someone is in danger. This is a call to take responsibility for the well-being of others, to be active in preventing harm rather than standing by and doing nothing. The obligation to reprove someone who is engaged in a wrongful act is closely linked to the command not to hate one's brother in one's heart. Witnessing immoral behavior without attempting to intervene can lead to resentment and contempt. This is a call to engage with others in a constructive and compassionate way, to help them see the error of their ways, and to prevent the spread of moral decay. The prohibition against shatnez, the mixing of linen and wool, is a fascinating example of the Israelite aversion to the mingling of distinct categories. This prohibition, along with others in the text, reflects a broader cultural and religious principle of maintaining order and purity. While it may seem like an obscure law, it is a reminder of the importance of adhering to established norms and boundaries. The fact that what is forbidden for profane use is permitted for cultic use highlights the distinction between the sacred and the profane. The laws surrounding sexual relations, such as the command to put to death a betrothed woman who has sex with another man, reflect the severe consequences of straying from the moral and ethical principles of the community. The different treatment of a female slave in this context highlights the hierarchical and patriarchal nature of the society. While these laws may seem harsh by modern standards, they were a reflection of the values and norms of the time. The agricultural laws surrounding the treatment of fruit trees provide an interesting example of the intersection of practical wisdom and religious observance. The analogy of fruit to foreskin, while startling to the modern ear, reflects the cultural and religious significance of circumcision. The prohibition against harvesting fruit during the first 3 years of a tree's life is a prudent arboricultural practice that ensures the long-term health and productivity of the tree. The festival of first fruits, to be offered in the sanctuary to God, is a celebration of the bounty of the earth and a recognition of God's providence. The command not to eat over the blood is another example of the prohibition against pagan practices. The ritual meal consumed over a pit or receptacle containing blood was a form of divination, a practice that was considered an affront to the one true God. This command is a call to avoid practices that are contrary to the principles of monotheism and to maintain the purity of the community. The prohibition against rounding off the edge growth of one's head and the prohibition against shaving the head, tearing or mutilating the beard, and gashing one's body are all linked to pagan mourning practices. These practices were seen as a form of self-mutilation and were considered a violation of the body. The command to maintain the integrity of the body reflects a broader cultural and religious principle of respect for the physical form. The command to defer to an elder is a reminder of the importance of respecting the wisdom and experience of older members of the community. In court proceedings, no special consideration can be given to anyone, regardless of status. But in everyday interactions, an old person deserves deference. This is a call to balance the principles of justice and respect in all aspects of life. The laws surrounding measurement, whether in weight or liquid measure, are a practical application of the principle of fairness. The literal sequence of the Hebrew text, in measure, in weight, in liquid measure, emphasizes the importance of accuracy and honesty in all transactions. This is a call to be truthful and transparent in all dealings, to avoid cheating or deceiving others. In conclusion, the passage you have encountered is a rich and complex text that offers profound insights into the moral, ethical, and religious principles that underpin a just and compassionate society. While the specific laws and practices may seem foreign or even harsh by modern standards, the underlying principles of respect, compassion, and integrity are timeless. They remind us of the importance of treating all people with dignity, of maintaining the integrity of the community, and of living in a way that is in harmony with the values we hold dear. These principles are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago.